I love you. Welcome back to the Couch Potatoes. I am the Green Traveler from Gorge.
And this is a very different podcast than you thought it was. It's about... Yeah, it's about, living out on the ranch, getting green off that tobacco, and, being faceless to the world because you're off the grid. That's right, baby.
Exactly.
No
That's
Wi-Fi,
right.
No nothing. That's what this show's
No government
about.
trackers on us.
That's right. This is Green Faceless on the Couch. I'm the Faceless Leo, and if I didn't say, I think I did. But it's a podcast about movies and TV. I lied about that other shit, so... yeah.
We don't lie.
This is a show about the truth. That's what it really is.
This is a truth social show.
We sleuthed it out for
Trump.
you. So, what's the truth today is that we're talking about some new movies. Some 2022
Talking some new movies that are oddly, both of them horror adjacent. Not intentionally going in, but surprisingly, both of them are horror adjacent. That's not to say there are horror elements in both, but neither of them are horrors.
No.
They're just adjacent. They're just next to it.
Yeah.
Lying alongside.
Yeah, I think you could classify Day Shift as horror comedy, but it definitely hits the comedy a bit more. It's a vampire movie, but it's funny. That's what they did.
Supernatural.
So, yes, it stars Jensen Ackles as Jamie Foxx.
And what's his fuck the other one as Snoop Dogg?
The guy who plays Sam Winchester.
Sure. He has a name.
I think it's Jared.
Garrett?
No, Jared. With a D, I think.
Jared.
Yeah.
I
guess we could look
Jared.
it up. Is it worth it?
Jared Podlansky?
I think it's something with a P, but not.
Podlansky?
It's not Jablonski though. It's not. Because that's...
I was close. It was Padalecki.
Padalecki. Okay.
And that is not the guy I imagined. For whatever reason, this photo of him, he looks so much different than... I've only seen the first 2 seasons of Supernatural, so that explains a lot, because, that was 17 years ago.
Yeah.
But still.
So long ago.
So long, man.
Well, I'll talk about that show sometime. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to, because I don't ever plan to watch it again.
I don't know if I could do 17 years, man. Or however long it was.
They've only done 15 seasons. They took some breaks, apparently.
Okay.
But yeah, we're coming at you with a vampire comedy film. The last vampire comedy I can think of that I watched was, it's the one with David Tennant, and
yes.
Anton Yelchin. Fright Night.
Yes. I was going to say Freaky Friday.
Freaky Friday, Fright Night.
Freaky Friday, Fright Night.
I love that movie. That's one of my favorite, horror comedies, top 10. It's not in the top 5, but it's a decent horror comedy. So Day Shift, it's got a lot to live up to, because horror comedies are a thing I love.
Yeah, they're fun.
And,
they're pretty niche.
Yeah, they are indeed. I won't say that this one broached the top 25, but it was enjoyable enough that... Here we are. We're talking about. Do you want to synopsize this one?
Sure.
Or shall I?
Sure. Why not? So Bud Jablonski, he goes around disguised as a pool cleaner. This is Jamie Foxx's character, by the way. But he is a vampire hunter, and he hunts vampires for their you turn in the fangs. Obviously, you do it because vampires are evil and they kill people. But you turn in the fangs.
That's their reasoning for it, yeah.
But you turn in the fangs and you get money, depending on what type of vampire, how old they were, and whatnot.
And there's a union for this.
And there is a union for this. Bud is not in the union. He's been kicked out.
Yeah, for good reasons.
For good reasons, apparently.
He breaks every rule in the book. He gets people hurt. He literally, They literally say that he hunted vampires next door to a child's birthday party. And it's just like, okay, bro. Like, I mean, I understand vampires are one thing, but it's very possible, like, as they've shown in every single time they have a vampire hunt in this movie, that bad shit goes down when you try to hunt a vampire because they don't want to die.
They don't want to die, which, neither do I, so I get it. But
exactly.
They've had more chances than I have.
Right. And being a father of his own, you would expect Jamie Foxx's Bud Jablonski to be like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't hunt vampires right next to a children's birthday party.
Yeah, maybe.
I think there's good reason he was kicked out of the union.
But at this point, he's not making enough money. And Jocelyn, his separated wife, is planning on taking Paige, his daughter, to Florida?
Yeah, Florida. Yeah, why ever you would, but yeah.
Apparently it's cheaper to live there. Like, they live in LA, so yeah.
That makes sense, yeah.
But I don't know why you have to move across the entire country. I think it was a job opportunity for her or something like that. It
was either that or she had, like, family.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe that's
Maybe it was family. And Jocelyn, the wife, is played by Megan Good.
Thank you.
Paige, the daughter, is Zion Broadnax.
That's right.
I assume. It could be French. Maybe it's Brodna.
Brodna. Maybe. Yeah, so he's trying to make more money, but he can't because the guy, the pawn dealer, who is that guy from Fargo.
That's right.
I can't remember.
Troy.
Peter
Stormare.
Yeah. Was it though? I thought
Troy
he's in
was
Fargo.
A
different. Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. For some reason, once they find, spoilers, Troy dies, and they come across his body, and for some reason, I thought it was a different person, and that's because he doesn't have a face anymore. So,
yeah, it's fair. Yeah.
But anyhow, this guy that he sells teeth to, he's not giving him a good enough deal, and he's got to make enough money for Jocelyn to stay with Paige, and so he begs to get back into the Union, and he does so with his friend Big John Elliott, the black cowboy.
Hell
Snoop
yeah.
Dogg.
Oh my god,
I
baby.
loved it.
That was the drawing interest for me because I saw the poster when this movie came out a couple months ago, and I saw Jamie Foxx, and I saw horror comedy vampire, and I was just like, it probably won't live up. I love Jamie Foxx, but I was just like, I don't know. But then I saw Snoop Dogg right next to Jamie Foxx, and I was like, you know what?
You know what?
We gotta give this one a swing.
So there's a couple of things in this movie that are like written in, but don't really matter for the plot, like in any way at all. One of these things is that Snoop Dogg and Jamie Foxx served together. And that's really just, for them to know each other. And then they fight together. But they didn't need to serve together to fight together or be friends. So
no, I mean, it does set up their chemistry in regards to the battle. Like,
Sure.
At the end, I guess, they kind of
bit.
have a rapport working together.
Yeah. There's a couple other things about this movie that are kind of like that, though, that are just like, you didn't need that.
We'll get into a big one soon.
So, anyhow, he finally gets the guy who runs I think it's Ralph. Yeah. Ralph Seeger, played by Eric Lange.
Yeah.
He's like the head of the Union. He gets him to let him in, being vouched by Big John, and he lets him work the day shift. But Jamie's like, I can't make enough money on the day shift. What are you talking about? Put me on the night shift. And he's like, I'm not going to put you on the night shift. You're on a probationary period. And by the way, here's this guy named Seth, and he's going to follow you around, even though he knows dipshit about being a vampire hunter. He just knows the rules.
I love Seth too. Seth played
Seth
by
is
Dave Franco.
Really funny. The buddy cop part of this is pretty great.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny how Dave Franco's become the good Franco. Like, sorry.
I haven't heard much about
he's laying low.
James. I mean, I think he's probably doing the right thing right now.
Yeah.
I don't...
going through therapy, hopefully, like learning what he did wrong. If he did things wrong, I don't remember all the whether all the accusations were proven. I trust the victims on that one.
Sure,
but it makes me sad because I really like James Franco's acting, and I still really love Dave Franco's acting too, especially like this movie is so funny.
He is really funny. The chemistry between him and Jamie Foxx is pretty fucking great. Like, I didn't expect it.
No, I didn't either.
Especially at first, because, Bud is so against the idea of having this guy tail along. He's like, I'm not going to be able to do what I need to do to get the job done, which is break all the rules.
Bud's really fun of a character when he's a father. Like, when you see him as a father, you're like, I like really him. He's funny. He's humorous. But when you see him interact with other people, because he is not a sociable person, when you see him interact with the president of the union, when you see him interact with Seth at first, he's kind of a dick. And like an unnecessary dick at times too, we all have those moments where we're unnecessarily dickish. But like there's moments where he'll just do something, I'm like, bro, back her up, about six notches, you don't need to be coming at Ralph Seeger this angrily. but like you also kind of get where he's coming from, because as you mentioned, he did serve, he did have,
military
experience, and now he's, trying to do this thing of, killing vampires. But he's struggling because, he's not making the money and everything, and he's ostracized from his family kind of thing. Like, it makes sense. I will understand, like, his attitude. But at first with Seth, I loved Seth. He was such a teddy bear, and I'm just like, Jamie, like, give him some credit, man. This guy is, like, trying. Yeah, he is trying. Like, okay, so they get to a place to hunt some vampires. It's like a bowling alley. Yeah, it's a bowling alley. And Bud's like, you stay in the car, because otherwise you'll get killed. And here's a gun. And he's like, I don't believe in guns. And he's like, you're in a vampire hunting club. He's like, but I'm in accounting. Yeah. And so he leaves him with the gun. And for some reason, Seth decides, which thankfully, because Bud was going to die, Seth decides to go into the bowling alley. And he didn't bring the gun. No. The best part, like, that movie, that scene has, like, a lot of the, the reasons I like and hate this movie, because this movie has a lot of issues that bothered me. And it's a lot of just, like, the dumb things that, it's a comedy movie, I know I shouldn't be thinking about it, but in that scene, when Seth goes in there to save Bud, he helps Bud out. Bud's on the ground with a vampire on him, and he's, like, holding his teeth at bay from biting at him, and he's just, like, he's doing everything he can to survive. Seth comes in, somehow saves him. When Bud gets back up, he points a gun at Seth, and Seth is like, oh my god, are you gonna shoot me? And he's like, no, duck. And then Seth ducks down, and a vampire pops up behind him. Yeah. It's like, it wasn't running, there's no reason to point the gun at Seth, because there's no vampire running or anything. It's on the ground. Point it at the ground. Like, I don't understand why he points it at Seth and he's like, duck. And then the vampire's like, this is my cue to jump up and get shot in the face. Like, what is this scene for? Like, it's funny, but it makes me question all the choreography and everything. I'm like, there's so many moments of that, that where it's like, it's a director's first movie. It's, J.J. Perry. Yeah. Written by Tyler Tice and Shay Hatten. But yeah, it's his first movie, so like I don't want to like rag on like that kind of stuff. But if he ever does hear this, don't do that kind of stuff in the next movie. Make it make sense. Like it's like it can still be a comedy and still make sense. It's like that scene specifically. If he's gonna point the gun at Seth and say duck, when Seth ducks, there should be a vampire running up from behind.
Yeah.
It should make sense why the gun's
like
there.
hiding in the shadow or something right next to the door. Or something. Yeah, I get what you mean.
But that's my nitpick corner.
What I thought you were going to say. What I
we?
thought you were going to say about that was you were like, why are they playing Assassin's Creed rules and not all attacking at the same time? And,
that too. Yeah.
And I was thinking maybe there's vampire code because, they do feed off of their victims. Yeah. So it's like, okay,
I think
you get to eat that guy.
I think you can kind of excuse it in the dialogue that Seth delivers later when they're hunting with those dude bros. Right. Because, when they go hunting with these two twin brothers
Nazarian,
who are...
the Nazarian brothers.
Thank you.
Mike and Deeren, played by
Steve Howey and Scott Adkins.
Yeah.
Scott Adkins sounds like a familiar name.
They have this bit where they spit their gum back and forth.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's gross, man. They share everything.
We share everything.
Yeah. But like when they hunt together with Seth and Bud, Seth, once they kill all these vampires in this building, Seth is like, whoa, this doesn't make sense. There's 4 different sects of vampires.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can see sect A, pairing up with any of the other sects, but these two will not ever pair together. And these two, it's like, so... Yeah. Maybe in the bowling alley you can excuse it because maybe they were different types of vampires and they didn't like hunting together. Maybe they're just like, oh.
Maybe. It is possible.
Yeah.
So
I can make excuses while I nitpick.
After the bowling alley scene, I just want to mention that there's a running gag that Seth kind of pees his pants every time.
Yeah.
And when they're hunting with the Nazarians, he'd like, dude, did you piss your pants? And they're like super Russian. And he says, yeah, it's my thing. And Bud's like, don't brag about that.
It's kind of my thing. I do this. I love it, man.
It's so funny. So you want to complain about Heather. So
I do. I want to complain about Heather. I'm ready to, man.
Nothing against...
There's this neighbor of Bud's.
Nothing against he comes home. Natasha Liu Bordizzo. But
thank you. Yeah, he gets home and he lives in an apartment complex because he's down on his luck. If you're down on your luck, of course you live in apartments. They're not saying anything about me at all. But he's walking up the stairs to his apartment and he bumps into this lady named Heather. She's carrying her laundry and he knocks her laundry down on accident. And he's just like, oops, sorry. And she was turning to go down the stairs too, mind you. She was making her way down the stairs when he bumps into her, and then
they go back.
He helps put her stuff back. Yeah, he helps put her stuff back into the basket, and then they go to her door, and he's just like, "Oh, you live here?"
They
and she's
can make
like,
that
"Yeah,
make
just moved in."
with what the real problem with this character is.
It's true. But this is the first time he's met her too. They introduce each other. Then she invites him in for beer. He helps. He comes inside carrying whatever he had knocked down.
She had 2 baskets, and yeah. So he's carrying one in for her, and he's like, "Oh, you got a different layout than I do." Yeah, that's rad. That's cool. It's so weird.
And she's just like, "You want some beer?" And he's like, "Nah, I'm okay." And then he leaves, and it's very awkward.
Yeah, they set it up. Like a meet cute. Like she's going to be some kind of love interest. And, he's separated from his wife. So that makes sense. It makes sense. But it's still just a very strange meet cute. And then the next scene that you see her, she's a vampire trying to kill him. And he's making it out like they were friends. Yeah, he's like, I trust you.
Heather, no, it can't be you. He's like, this makes so much sense. They were using you to get close to me. He said that. I remember him saying that. They were using you to get close to me. And I'm like, how? You met her 2 scenes ago.
Yeah.
It was so confusing. Definitely something's missing. There's some deleted scenes, something that was supposed to set her up more. And they were just like, nah. We need more time with Snoop Dogg shooting shit.
Okay.
And that's fine. I get it.
And then she's his sidekick after that. It's
Yeah.
it's their relationship is a roller coaster, man.
That was another weird thing is, again, spoilers, I'm sorry. There's a moment where Seth gets turned. And there's a lot that goes on there between Jamie and Seth. But somehow, Seth and Heather are both good vampires? Even though they've established that there's only 4 types of vampires, and all of them are, like, mental crazy motherfuckers.
Right.
Apparently there's a 5th sect that can be good?
I think that what they were conveying is that it's a misconception that all of them are just straight evil. Like, you know, they're hungry,
So
they're hungry creatures, but,
Yeah.
you know, they still have a human brain in there. So I think that's
Gotcha.
what they're trying to convey, especially since earlier they were like, don't you try me with that, oh, I'm one of the good vampires shit. This is a Twilight.
That's right. I do remember that, actually.
So
Okay, so it's like, I guess it makes sense. I was happy that happened, because when
Yeah.
Seth turned, I was very upset because he was my favorite character.
and it seemed like they had just gotten to be buddies.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
was, I was kind of sad at first, but what happens is really funny. So,
It is really funny. I do enjoy it. We won't spoil the rest of it.
I do
They
want to
do set up...
talk
Go ahead.
about the villain, with the
Yeah,
plot of the story.
that's what I was gonna
So
do too. Yeah.
Audrey San Fernando is this elder vampire played by Carla Souza. She it's like a lot of the vampire lore. They say that the families came from Mexico, is what happened. So
And there's a big one. There's a huge one, like, I think, named El Jefe. Was it El Jefe?
maybe
or something like that?
one of her rivals or something. Audrey's
Yeah,
rivals.
yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
something
what
like
I
that.
wanted to talk about, was they set up this background universe, so it's like they think there could be sequels,
Sure.
which is hilarious to me. I mean, I'm okay if there is a sequel.
I'd watch
It's just
it,
they
but-
definitely were like,
I
they were
think it's a
building up
while.
this El Jefe character, and he never appeared. So I'm just like, ooh, we got
I thought,
a villain for the
Yeah.
sequel here.
yeah, I'm kind of hoping he's a little bit more Nosferatu like. That'd be fun. Like,
That'd be fun.
Yeah. But anyways, obviously Carla Souza is very attractive human, but she is the boss queen, and she's come up a way to make vampire sunscreen. So
Yeah.
so that is her plan, is for the vampires to take over the day, like they already rule the night, and also, while she's trying to, be a vampire entrepreneur, Bud Jablonski goes and kills her daughter, who's an 80-year-old woman.
Yeah, that was his first kill of the movie, even,
Yeah.
which is, sets it all up, man.
Sets it all
It's
up.
it's great. It's expert storytelling.
Well, I'm not so sure about that, but it was a lot of fun. Should we do
It was fun. Yeah.
closing statements?
I enjoyed it enough. I like Snoop Dogg. I thought Snoop Dogg was hilarious.
Yeah.
I like giving him a big gun, having
Yeah.
him in a cowboy costume with a cigar, and just a blunt, but
blunt,
like
yeah.
beautiful stuff.
Oh.
Good stuff. And
There was one thing right at the end when I'm not gonna. Never mind. Can't say that. So there's part with him where I swear his blunt, not his blunt, his joint turns into a blunt in the next frame. It's so funny. Like he must have smoked
he's
it.
the fastest.
He
He's the
must have-
fastest chain smoker in the West.
But I'm saying, like, he must have smoked it during the shoot, and he's like, well, this time I'm smoking a blunt. I don't care what you guys say.
And the continuity director was like, "Come on, man, we got it." He's like, "Hit
Man.
this shit."
He's
And the
like,
continuity
"Hit this
director
shit."
hit it and was just like, all right, you're
All right.
okay. You're right. It don't matter. Nobody will notice. We noticed.
Well,
we
it was
noticed.
hilarious. Like, I
was.
kind of hoped that it was a continuity joke because it was really
Yeah.
funny.
I didn't notice it, but like everything to do with Snoop Dogg was funny. And, I always loved Jamie Foxx. Dave Franco was hilarious in this. It's just, there's a lot that doesn't click with the family, aspect. Like, I feel like there could have been more drama or more humor. Like, there's something that's just like not completely there. But it is still a very fun film. I will give it 2.5 stars. I think the best joke was playing body count while having them just absolutely brutalize like 100 to 200 vampires.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was good stuff. That was a fun scene. The action is good. I forgot to say the action and the choreography is really fun. Like they have a lot of good kills that are just like just hilariously silly. I will say that Jamie Foxx's signature move of putting wire over a doorway to decapitate them
works every time.
It works every time. It's really well set up until the very finale. Sorry, when he uses it again, and I'm just like, when did you set that up? Really, when did you set it up? Because it doesn't work.
Yeah. Didn't your wife walk through there? No, I don't know if that happened.
But fucking real. So, like, it makes no sense. He's just like, he gets knocked into a room, and he gets back up, and then, like, a vampire rushes him, gets the head cut off, and he's like, ha, works every time. I'm like, that wasn't there like 2 seconds ago, and you were just on the ground before it started rushing you. So how did you have time to stretch it across there?
Yeah. What it is like a razor thin retractable strip of silver plated metal. Yeah. So so silver vampires, I guess. I thought that was always more werewolves, but in this universe it's vampires too. My favorite joke, since you mentioned yours, it was so silly. It's so Bud has this yellow stuff, like it's like turmeric. It's like turmeric, garlic, and like it looks like turmeric is what it looks like. Yeah, but he says there's garlic in it and like some other stuff, and it's to wash the scent of vampire blood off of you, I think. And he gives it to Seth after the bowling alley, and he's like, go take this, use a handful of it, wash it everywhere, but don't get it in your eyes, and definitely don't get it in your butthole. And Seth is like, okay. And he comes back out, and his eyes are so sad, like puppy dog sad, like Seth, like, you know, Dave Franco could do. And he's like, you all right? And he's like, I definitely got it in my butthole. And he's like, yeah, you did. I don't know why I love that so much. It's so funny.
You're gross. You're sick.
That must be it.
No, it was hilarious. I
give it a face, a strong face. I definitely can't say it's like the best movie, but it's definitely the movie that tickled me the most, comedy-wise, that I've seen in a long time, if I recall.
That's good.
But we don't watch that many comedies on here, to think about it.
That's true. We need to fix that next year. More comedies. Maybe. Yeah. Because if this is top tier comedy for the year, we're screwed.
Hey, listen, you know, the straight like the comedies that they put out that are like theater going comedies, I haven't liked them for like the last 15 years. Oh, maybe more.
There've been some,
but like, yeah, they're just not like something happened to our humor as a whole. And I didn't like it, apparently.
We started it. This is going to sound bad, but it's because we started attacking comedians, and now everybody's like, how do we tell safe jokes? And it's like, just tell jokes. Just tell jokes, and if you say something wrong, you make sure you apologize and atone for it.
Right.
And try not to be racist. Like, obviously race is off,
just steer away from the racist stuff and then go at it. You know? And then people are like,
there's still so many good jokes.
That's not good. And then you could
just take inspiration from George Carlin. You can find the humor in everything. Just watch George Carlin. He'll get you there.
He'll get you.
We're gonna do that. We're gonna take a water pop break, and we're just gonna blast through the entirety of George Carlin, and we'll come back.
Okay. Yeah. See you tomorrow. We'll be right back.
I love you. Hello. This is the beginning
of the end.
The beginning of a film called The Wonder.
Oh, that's right.
The people you are about to meet, the characters, believe in their stories with complete devotion. We are nothing without stories, and so we invite you to believe in this one. That was the beginning of this movie. That was very weird, very off-putting. Sorry to drop us back in a cold open like that from a break.
Sorry.
But that's this film. This film is very weird and off-putting immediately. Like it starts off with a long shot of a film set. You see a set in construction, and you have this eerie music that's kind of like right out of the Witch, kind of like it's like that. It's not a chorus, but I think it's like a violin, right? Wasn't it like it was very eerie, like.
Yeah, I think there's some violin. There's some string, some high string action going on there. Yeah,
it's something strange.
Something stringy.
It's unnerving, and it's immediately unnerving. And you have this voiceover that's telling you that this is a movie. You know, it's literally straight up being like, "Hey, motherfucker!" It says this is the beginning of a film called The Wonder. And, you know, it's really off-putting. I at least was immediately like, what is this? Because I didn't watch a trailer. I didn't know anything about this movie. And as it started to unfold, I was just weirdly captivated. Like,
yeah,
I found myself just like really weirdly drawn in because the story is about a nurse. Let me get her name here. It's Florence Pugh.
It's Mrs. Wright. Elizabeth Wright.
Yes. Lib. She goes by Lib.
Yeah, but it takes a while to get to know that.
Yeah, right. Like, that was the thing, is like, I watched it with subtitles, so it kept saying Lib, and I was like, I don't know who Lib is. Like, because they never called her that. She was always like Mrs. Wright.
The end of the second act. No, maybe a little. Yeah. It's in the second act somewhere. Somewhere. Because there's a long time where Anne, that's the girl's name. Who plays Anne, though?
Keila Lord Cassidy.
Thank you. She wants to get a nickname for her nurse.
Oh, yeah.
Because she wants to be friends with her. But Mrs. Wright is trying to keep her professional scientific distance.
Yeah. The crux of the story is it takes place just after the Irish famine. As an Irish descendant, I was immediately, again, very interested in this because you don't see the Irish famine talked about a lot in film or like there's not a lot of there's a lot of stories that come from it, of course, and I know there's a lot of movies based off of it. But it's not something that gets a lot of attention.
Right. I feel like there's a lot more movies about people migrating to America than there are about the people that are still there.
Who remained.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's this wonder. There's this, in this very small village, there is this is like 20 years, I think, after the famine, something like that. It's a while after, but everybody's still reeling from it. Everybody is still, there's a lot of turmoil still left over from the famine.
Yeah.
And there's this girl, young Anna O'Donnell, who won't eat. She doesn't need it. She's fine without it. She's gone 4 months so far without eating any food. She's healthy. She's doing okay. And it's wondrous to these people who suffered through this hunger. Who they're
like she won't
they're all
die.
Very deeply religious.
Yeah.
And they see this young girl as a new saint.
Right.
A saint come upon them.
Because she's claiming to be feeding off of manna.
Yeah, that's right. From heaven. Manna from heaven. And so this council of males in this village,
including Toby Jones.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, Toby Jones is in this. I forgot about that. It was kind of funny when he showed up too. I was just like, hey, the Dream Doctor from Doctor Who and like 1,000 other projects.
Right. So he's Dr. McBurty in this.
McBurty.
Yeah, and he's the one who brings Lib on. Because he wants to do a scientific study of it.
And they also bring, because again, they're deeply religious, they bring on a nun as well. Miss Wright, the Florence Pugh, and this nun.
Sister Michael, I believe, played by Josie Walker.
They're going to take shifts, and they won't talk to each other. They won't discuss the case to each other specifically.
Right.
Lib will watch and sit with Anna, I think, throughout the morning or whatever. And then, at the end of her shift, the nun will come in and sit with her for the rest of the time of that day or night.
And to be clear, Sister Michael is a trained nurse.
That's true.
She's just a nun.
Yeah. So, and they're both there to to watch Anna, to see if she's healthy, to try to discover if there's any, illegitimate means behind how she can
how
survive.
Is she getting sustenance? Watch her.
Yeah.
See how it's happening.
Yeah, is she really feeding off of manna from heaven? And what unfolds is just, it's hard to explain without just spoiling it. And I don't really want to spoil it.
That is true. Yeah.
I feel like there will be some things that we have to talk about. There's Anna has a brother who died recently, an older brother.
It wasn't the famine, though. It was something else.
No,
they made it through the famine.
Yeah, something else.
And then he died of something else. I don't remember.
Yeah, and I don't think they ever explained, really. I don't think there's.
I think maybe they said it was a sickness, like that he got sick.
Yeah, I kind of get the feeling that it was a flu too, but I don't know if they said that or if I just implicitly I implied it based off the things, because that's a lot. There's a lot in this film that is said, but you have to read into it. You have to look into the words because there's just so much. It's kind of like Power of the Dog. It has a lot of. If you remember, like Power of the Dog being like that Western with Benedict Cumberbatch and it's got a lot of that where it's like
you gotta let it unfold.
There's a story,
there's
a story on the surface. It's gonna unfold, and you can see what happens as it unfolds. But at the same time, there's a lot happening under the surface, like emotionally and everything. That like it's not just all blatantly apparent. It's not just thrown at you. And I appreciate this movie for that. I do. I don't know. It's going to stick with me. This movie definitely stuck with me. But there's so much of it that's so unconventional that I feel like I wasn't watching the movie so much as trying to make excuses for the movie, I guess. I'm trying to like decipher it, and
you're trying to give reason to the choices that the directors and cinematographers have made.
And I'm not a religious individual. In this movie, there's again at that opening where it's like we're nothing without stories, and the stories are only as powerful as what we give into them.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole movie is trying to, like, as again at the beginning it tells you, we invite you to believe in these stories, and the whole town wants to believe in this saint.
Yeah,
this whole village does, but Florence Pugh, who you find out has also, I'll say, suffered loss.
Yeah.
You find out that she is not that religious, that focused on, she's finding a scientific reason for why this is happening. And she wants to know.
And Toby Jones's character, who is her boss in this endeavor, he is so excited about the possibility of a new discovery that he is just anything that Lib brings up that's like common sense or hey, you're not looking at this objectively. He just writes it off because it's like, listen, you're just a nurse. Just watch. And then even when she comes forward with information that is pertinent to the watch,
they refuse it.
Yeah, this panel of men, they're just like, no, this is real. Yeah. I think there's one person who's actually a skeptic on the panel. It's not Toby Jones's character though. It's somebody else.
Yeah. And I do like it. I like all the messages. I like what they're trying to set up and everything. I think they do a pretty good job at it. But it's like that third act, there's so much that happens after that, after she gives them that pertinent information. There's so much that just is thrown at you that, I don't know, it's kind of like there's almost too much that you're trying to figure out, like, what's the meaning behind everything.
Right.
Like, all these choices. Specifically, like, she burns the house. There's a moment where Florence Pugh burns the house.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just like, what is happening here? Like, everything that happens in that third act, I'm trying to, like, rack my brain around what the daughter feels, what Florence Pugh's character's feeling. Like, I'm trying to make it all make sense, but, like, it just feels like there's a disconnect between me and what's going on. And it could be the religious angle. Yeah, it really could be.
It is hard to talk about without giving away stuff, but with the burning down the house part was to cover her tracks for what she's done. And it seems like Anne very much at that moment wanted out of the situation. So
but where was the family?
They were at church. They're at a big mass. Okay. Yeah, that's why she did it there. Yeah. Because Anne couldn't go to mass.
But then there's the thing that the nun says afterwards, where she's like, "But when I was coming to the burning house, she's like, I saw a vision of, I'll say Anna riding away on horseback," and she said she was with her mother, or she thought she was with her mother on horseback, right? Was it her mother, or was it an angel?
It was an angel. A big, strong angel, I think.
That's right.
Yeah. I think what she was describing, man, I just don't want to give away. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't give it away. I think I know what she was describing. Okay. Like, I understand that.
Okay.
But for whatever reason, I thought, like, the family was also in on it. I'm just like, I don't understand the family's motives around everything either.
Well, it seems to me that the father might have legitimately believed, but the mother was putting the daughter through this, spoilers, because she was angry about the son.
And like that's what it all came down to. Like I got it. I did like it made sense when we get to the end. But as I was trying to, I feel like as I was watching it, I was spending too much time trying to dissect everything.
Right.
And like I couldn't. And because it might have been because the movie invited me to do this at the beginning, where it's just like, remember, this is a story. And I'm like, okay, when I hear stories, I like to dissect.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I like to do. And because I'm fucking weird. But like, but like, I don't know. I feel like this movie, like, if I hadn't been focusing on that and just been watching it, I think I would have had a more, like, I still liked it. I still really liked it. But in that third act, I think I was just way too focused and confused and not enjoying enough, because like even with the sister, when she says that, I'm just like, did you know what was going on? Like, are you saying that like you legitimately think this is a vision, or are you just trying to sugarcoat your words?
She was trying to be sly as to let Lib know what she was talking about, but not everybody else around them. Because I think the Ryans were in and out of the hospital, so were the police, because they were looking for Anne. But the house was entirely burned down, so there was no evidence.
Which makes her completely implicit in establishing this saint-like character, and it's just like...
That is true.
From a religious standpoint, it's like, that's awful.
It is.
But is it awful?
But it is like this movie does a really good thing with someone doing a wrong thing for the right reasons.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it gives a lot of people hope, and when they needed it.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a lot of there's so much to this movie. There's so much like subtlety and everything. Like I really was blown away by it.
Very interesting. I was very drawn in and very focused on what was going on during it.
And then it's bookended because it has another, at the end they cut back to like they're watching one scene and they'll pan over. Yeah, right back to that film set that's under construction. Except now the narrator. I thought the narrator was the sister. Yeah, the narrator was the same actor who played the sister, Kitty O'Donnell, Anna's sister. That is, Neom Auger. But she's in like modern clothes.
Anna's sister? I never quite understood what her relation to anything going on in this story. Maybe the family's last name is Ryan, so. And she's an O'Donnell. I know that she knew the journalist character, who I guess we didn't talk about.
Anna's name is O'Donnell. Now I'm confused.
Oh man, I don't remember. There's this journalist character who's coming to write about it, and he blames before he even knows what's going on. He blames the family and the doctors of murder by degree.
William Byrne, Tom Byrne.
Here's another in the cast list. Another O'Donnell character. No picture.
There's so many, man.
Malachi. I'm not sure if that's how
Malachi?
Is that how you spell Malachi? Maybe.
That's a way to spell it. That's not the way I would spell it. But that is, I feel like that's a very Irish way to spell it.
Oh, you're right. The little girl's name is Anna O'Donnell. I've been wrong this whole time. Who are the fucking Ryans? Oh, they're the innkeeper's family.
That's right, yeah.
The innkeeper had like 7 daughters or something like that. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
That's right. I completely forgotten the Innkeeper. Honestly, like the Innkeeper's family and William Byrne himself, I know that William comes to play in big at the end, but like their whole characters were pretty much useless for most of this plot. Like William was there to give Lib some like romantic interest and like some like an out from the village. You know, he was an outside connection to the real world.
Someone who has like similar thinking to her, a lot more educated thinking than some of these people.
Someone who can keep her grounded when the religiousness of this whole experience was willing to like lift her up, because she was like, you know, she was willing to believe, you know, she was willing to like, she wanted to actually like, there's moments where she's just like,
maybe it's true because Anna's so genuine.
Yeah, she loves Anna. And I guess to get into closing statements, like it definitely hit a bell. I really do like this, like what this movie did. I don't think I'll come back to it. You know, it's not one that I'll like watch a lot. Maybe I'll watch it with somebody like years down the line. But it's like it's like Power of the Dog. It's a very intriguing story that, you know, I was moved by in ways. But I'm only going to give it 3 stars. You know, it's like, it's got good cinematography. I think the cinematographer was actually the same guy who did Power of the Dog, Ari Wegner. Let me look this. Maybe not. Power of the Dog. Okay, cool. So it was the same cinematographer. So maybe that's why it felt so similar. Maybe it has a similar eye. But I did love the cinematography. Cinematography was beautiful.
Yeah, it was pretty. But it was very dark and moody, without being like over the top with that.
And that's to go back to the beginning, because I said that both these films were horror adjacent. This movie uses the music was by Matthew Herbert, and like the music lends itself to like, this is a horror film, right? Because it feels very much like that. It's like a lot of stringed instruments and like high pitched, sometimes going really fast, like. It gets under a nerve.
Yeah, a lot of this happens when Lib is taking drugs.
Oh God, I completely forgot about that.
She's either taking some kind of morphine or laudanum or something.
I think it was laudanum.
I don't know that they showed a label or anything, but maybe they did. But yeah, she's reeling from it, whatever it is. And those scenes are interesting, and the way they tie it in with what's going on in the story, because it's always at night. Because that's like kind of her nightly ritual.
It helps. I think that's why I think it's laudanum, because it helps her. She does it to sleep, to like not dream of everything.
Right. But I feel like, I know morphine's usually for pain, but I don't know. They'd like to prescribe that medicine, so.
Right. Yeah, but I think laudanum was prescribed to help with. Well, no, I don't think it was prescribed.
It was
ever.
prescribed to. Well, it was prescribed to.
I don't think she was taking it under prescription. I
think she might have been, because I think it was prescribed for mental illness a lot of times, and grief being among, like long-term grief being among that. Yeah,
that's true.
She was a nurse. She might have access to these drugs and is just taking whatever the fuck she wants.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking she was just stealing laudanum.
So did you give it a rating in your closing statement?
3 stars. I'll give it 3 stars. It's enjoyable. I do really like it, and I do recommend it, but just it might trigger some people, I think. Too.
Yeah, sure, it might. There is some. Like, I mean, basically it's a story about child abuse, but it is very strange lens
telling of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I give it a face. I think it's a very strong movie, very good at what it's trying to do, I think. The only thing I really didn't get, I know that you say you get it.
Well, I don't know if I get it, but I like it.
Okay. I thought, if you're going to book in this movie with the, taking a step back out of this story this beautiful world that you've created with the cinematography and everything, and show the plain wood behind the set and everything, it needed to land more. It needed to do something. It didn't do anything for me at all.
Yeah.
And I like meta stuff, but it just didn't do anything for me.
No, I get you.
Yeah.
I feel like it's another layer of trying to get the audience to look deeper, you know, and like I respect that because I do think most, like, I'll be blatantly honest, I think most of our America's movie audiences have just gotten stupid. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like a lot of people out there,
so many people just turned the podcast off right now.
I know they did, but I feel like a lot of people just don't want
to think,
you know, movies that make them think. They want to escape, and that's totally fine. I like a good escape too.
Yeah,
like I really do like a good escape. All I'm asking is that my escape means something and not just be stupid action. Like I know a lot of people. You shared with me that Black Adam is top dog on HBO Max right now, and that's fine. But I watched that movie and it's just dumb. And like all the people who are complaining about James Gunn coming in and just tearing up the DCU, fucking good. This is what we've been asking for years now.
I think what we're sad about is that, you know, the things that we have been promised are being taken away too. But
still, I'm okay with that because, like, I like Henry Cavill as Superman.
I know.
But I'm not excited about a Henry Cavill versus Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Black Adam. That doesn't get anything going.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm with you with that. And I honestly, you know, it's been a long time since Man of Steel, but it wasn't the most impressive Superman movie. He's just a good Superman. It made me want to vomit.
He is a good Superman.
Just let him be
at the
Superman.
Same time, and guys, they've all said that they're open for future projects. There can still be a thing like Crisis on Infinite Earths will probably happen under James Gunn. Yeah, it'll happen. It'll be fine.
And they could get Ray What's-His-Fuck from Legend of Tomorrow to play Superman again. Yeah, as well.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, I would love that.
3 Supermans, just like Doctor Who.
Yeah, that'd be great, man. It'd be so good. We are apparently getting a Blue Beetle movie.
I did see that. And is that under James Gunn or is that an old project? Okay.
I think he confirmed it, so I think it's one of his projects. Okay. So it's very weird. Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm not going to question the vision until I see it, but it feels like a very weird, like, we're stepping in, we're going to do a universe. Our first film, Blue Beetle.
Well, sure. Sure. Well, I think there is, like, you know, I feel like if you come in to this position that they're in, the archetypes or whatever, and then you say, we're going to take away all these things that we promised you, that the company promised you before we came in, but we are going to give you basically the same thing but different, people are going to be pissed off. Like, people are like, okay, but I could have saw this with Henry Cavill. Why wasn't it Henry Cavill? So
I get it. So like, you're right. Like, they have to come out swinging.
Yeah,
and that does make sense. He's proven himself good with the Outcast before. You know, it was like Guardians was great.
It was.
So like, I won't question the vision until I see it. But like, all I'm saying is Black Adam was stupid as fuck, and people really really enjoy it. And I'm just like, I don't get it. Like, it's fine action, but it's not good action.
But there's so much better action out there. That story dropped too? I mean, or are they going to keep that?
I'm pretty sure they're dropping everything to do with Zack Snyder. Like, that's what it seems like. And I'm okay with that.
Go ahead and please drop that Ezra Miller Flash movie too. Just make a different Flash movie.
Yeah, we don't need it. I'm pretty sure they're going to put it out there because it's going to get them a couple million back, and then they'll be fine with it. But hopefully there's just the end. Like, I don't need more Ezra Miller as the Flash.
No,
but all that to say, sorry, but all that to say that I enjoyed The Wonder being a movie that's just like, please think more, you know, and that's what that opening and ending scene are, is like, hey, we're inviting you to believe in these stories, similarly to how the villagers wanted to believe in this saint, and then we're showing you the movie set to basically put you completely on edge about this faith, you know, to be like, you know, to completely set you off guard, because it's like, okay, I know I'm watching a movie now. You know, you took me out of it. But then it's like, please believe in this. So it's like, it's immediately forcing you to question your belief.
It's like reverse while psychology.
Trying to get you to believe.
It's really strange. And I don't think that it was necessary to tell this story. That's
fair. Yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I want to read the book. It's based off of a book by Emma Donoghue.
And when they started out, it's just typewriter paper. The book is. The first 10 pages and the last 10 pages are just typewriter paper stapled in there. That's how they adapted it. That's.
I mean, I kind of do want to read that book and know if they play with that fourth wall break kind of a thing.
Yeah,
it'd be very interesting. But no, I don't know. I get it. It definitely was off-putting for me. It's just there's things about it that I really like, but I get where you're coming from. It wasn't really necessary,
right?
But I'm happy they did it. I'm happy that Sebastian Lelio, the director, took that risk.
I think there's a way to make it work and to make it work really well. It didn't work for me. That's what I'll say. I think I gave the movie a face. I did enjoy it. I probably will watch it again if somebody's like, "Hey, have you ever seen this?"
I'll be like, "Yeah,
put it on. I liked it."
Yeah.
But I think if we're going to talk about who wins, I think I would much rather put Day Shift on again. Because I had a lot of fun watching that. And it's a stupid movie, but it is fun. I don't know.
I think this is one of those episodes where I'm going to choose the other one solely to give it that credit, because I could also choose Day Shift. If you were going to choose The Wonder, I'd probably have chosen Day Shift, just because I think both of these are fine films to sit down and watch.
Well, fun is not the right word for The Wonder, but they're both good movies. Yeah,
I think
they're about. I know you did. I know, and then I said fun, and I was like, well.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Gotcha.
All right, I think that's been the show.
It has been. Thanks for joining. If you've enjoyed this, you can check our Patreon page. Give us money.
Really
Patreon.com/Green and Faceless. We do appreciate it. We love you all. I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
And I am the Faceless Leon. Safe travels in Gannett. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of FictionWorks 19. Are you a fan of the show? Feel free to contact us at greenandfacelessfans@gmail.com or visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/greenandfaceless. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, or rate us on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for listening.